Money Matters on FOSS 107 with Hinckley and Rugby Building Society.
So great to have you back, Colin. It's Money Matters on FOSS 107, and how times have changed.
They certainly have, Mark. It's been a really interesting time in recent weeks and months. Who would have known that we'd had so many Prime Ministers, so many Chancellors?
It's been absolutely bonkers. And quite frankly, I was expecting you to be throwing your hat in the ring at one point. I thought, I know, Colin will sort this out.
No, I don't think they're that desperate, Mark. So
let's talk about interest rates, because interest rates are affect everybody, really, don't they? And it's a worrying time with spiralling interest in rates. I don't like to use that term. But, I mean, obviously there's a lot of people worried. What is your advice to somebody that's coming to the end of a fixed term, and what options are there on the table for borrowers at the minute?
So I think anybody coming towards the end of their fixed term, my advice would be look around early. If you're comfortable with your existing lender, talk to them, ask them what deals are available for you. But a mortgage broker will look at the whole of the market. So it may be that your existing lender has not got an appetite for certain products, and it may be that a mortgage broker can search all of the lending market and identify exactly what's right for you. So that probably be my best advice. Talk to a mortgage broker.
Right. So, you know what? There are other options on the table other than fixed mortgages. I mean, both of my daughters have got fixed mortgages, and they seem to be kind of obsessed with that fixed term thing. It's not the only option, is it?
It's not the only option. I mean, a fixed rate gives you certainty of what your payments will be over the term. However, you can look at a variable rate mortgage, and there's also tracker mortgages. So a variable rate is not fixed for the term, but at the moment will be of a cheaper rate than a fixed rate. So you've got to have a view really about where will interest rates go, how high will they go, and then will they come back down. And a tracker tends to track the Bank of England base rate, which, as we know, has been rising and predicted to rise again this week.
Right. And when is that meeting this week, is it?
So the meeting will announce on Thursday, and the prediction is that the Bank of England base rate will rise by 0.75%. There's been some talk that it might have been higher, but since we've had a bit more stability with the government, the expectation it will be either 0.75% or 0.5%. Of course, the reason why rates are going up is that the Bank of England's one of its primary functions is to control inflation and bring inflation back down to the preferred level of 2%. So that's why there's this sort of there's all the talk about how high will base rate need to go to bring inflation down.
So is in raising interest rates, the Bank of England, do they hope to sort of put suppression on spending to stop inflation? Is that in layman's term how it works?
Yep, you've got it with that. It is how can we take some of the heat out of the economy? How can we stop spending? But it's never as simple as that, is it? It's never as simple as that.
Because of course, food inflation is about 15% at the minute, isn't it?
Well, I don't know if you saw the headlines about wheat and the Russian-Ukrainian situation. It means that the wheat prices are likely to soar, which wheat's involved in a lot of food. But the way inflation is calculated, it's a sort of basket of goods, a basket of different costs. And next year, some of those costs will come out because we saw a huge spike in the energy bills, but they're only included at that level for 12 months. So by the nature of inflation, you'll get perhaps food rising and adding to inflation, but you'll find some other items coming out of that calculation. So there is a thought that in 23 inflation will start to drop, but how high the rates need to go before that?
Yeah, we're all hoping that. I mean, tell me a little bit about what you would do if you are struggling and you're worried. I mean, a lot of people do worry, and I'm worried, to be honest with you. And I'm getting towards the end of my mortgage term now, but I'm still worried about high interest rates for my children's sake, really. So if they are worried, I mean, the most important thing is not to panic and get some good advice, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the natural thing to do is panic and perhaps put your head in the sand, not open the emails, not open the letters. You know, we've talked about this before, Mark, and it's
we have.
It's not. It doesn't work.
It doesn't,
because all the lenders are held by the same sort of code of conduct that the Financial Conduct Authority prescribe. So we've all got a duty of care to our customers to make sure that we offer them a range of different solutions should they be approaching financial difficulty or in financial difficulty. And I can guarantee there's a whole range of different steps that lenders can take. So go and talk to your lender if you've got any worries at all.
That's great advice. Thank you very much, Colin. See you next week for more Money Matters. And don't forget, we're going to be answering your questions about money. Just go to the website, foss107.co.uk.
I'll see you next week, Mark.
Cheers. Thank you very much, Colin. See you next week, mate.
Money Matters on Foss 107 with Hinckley and Rugby Building Society.